fuck around, people don't dawn with up off the thorns, but they don't dawn with a top on the dawns. People don't dawn with a call, sit them on crawl, back on that beauty in regard. Do 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 Banana, 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 no, 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 no. I have no idea what the fuck to expect. I imagine if it's anything equal to the shit that we're all going to be seeing from none other than fucking Lily Orchard, it's probably going to be a fucking catastrophe. But that's for Carl to cope about next week. You sure you don't want to come into the VSChat room? I have like 10-ish, 15 minutes from the actual 6-hour mark, but shit, you're still at work. Oh no. Well, I tried. I have to remember that this beacon over here, you can't see it. It's on my screen inside my game. Actually, no, that's a lie. You can see it. So that highlight that keeps showing up there, that's me looking at the people who are inside of the room. I can see myself, and I can see myself streaming. So this helps with addressing and figuring out who's doing what and where, in case they're in the call. And all that's a fucking feature being provided by Discord entirely, for reasons that I don't understand, since they have the infinite wisdom to allow me to see people talking inside of a chat room as a free tool, but I have to pay them money so I can type out a text box in a voice text channel. I roll my eyes at these bitches. I can only imagine it's going to be like with the rest of the dog shit opinions had by Lily Orchard. Me, personally, I thought it couldn't get worse after the opinions about Steven Universe, but then again, like Steven Universe fans, they always dig deeper. And I'm also finally running low on the booze. I think I have like a specific corner left, which will be fun to run through. It will last me exactly 5 minutes into Lily. I saw maybe the first 5-ish minutes of it to look at the preamble, and it's basically a bunch of Pokemon games. They're older than you. Opinion about Kingdom Hearts, and only a few of those games are relevant. Man, you had to really be there. So it felt like it was a build-up towards the big stinkers, the really big stinkers. And considering the fact that it's nearly 7 hours, yeah, that's literally 3 days worth of reactions. 2.5 if we were to condense it, but 3 days. I'm content with 3 days. Me personally, I only have like a soft spot for Generation 1 only because I purchased my own copy of Yellow and Silver. and I have the merce, the man purse. No. How could you think that we were talking about Todd in the Shadows when it clearly says in praise of Shadows returns to cope more? Anyways, granted, in the history of misunderstanding and understanding things, I don't think Lily Orchard or their partner, if they even still have one, have ever understood any fucking medium they ever talk about. But I imagine it can only get as debaucherous as it can get. Like a fusion between the opinions of a person from Shay Apocalypse, directly cannoneered by the opinions of uh, that one channel whose name is not coming to mind right now. Not Game Theory. The other one. I have to look this up. I must consult the playlist.
People who come to YouTube to take...
Let's see, around here. It's not positive loathing. Not that one. Extra credits.
There you are.
There we are. There it is.
It's funny that...
I literally cannot remember their fucking name as soon as my brain is getting geared to watch some fucking cringe. I don't know why the fuck that happens to me. Yes. I mean, there have been multiple takes over the years that have been really dog shit, but I think orcs or black people are the more common one people now hold in their minds for them now. I have a pounding headache, it feels. I slept fine. I came back from her place the other day. Why the fuck do I have a headache? Yeah, I saw that. I saw the notification for that stream. I told myself earlier when I was done with my game session after the delivery was received what I was going to do with myself today, and I was pondering over needing to start spending the time whenever I don't have something already planned and we're not in the course of planning VSChats or CGG events, that I need to start getting through the things I've been saying, because the backlog of games that I need to complete, that I started, I need to finish. And I got all that other shit done. I've been able to start working through the rest of my shit. It's like the releasing of a dam of sludge in a clogged pipe that had nothing but creative backup. Or, now that either something has fallen through or I don't have to worry about it anymore, I'm progressively moving through the stack of things that need to be said and done until I can get shit done. One way or another. Sploosh! 9 minutes. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. For some reason, the side of Discord does not show me as streaming. That is weird. Well, you see, the history portion is not the problem. It's their political proselytization about video games that's the problem. If the History Channel stayed doing its fucking job as the History Channel, instead of becoming THC or TLC, and deciding that we're going to allow shit like Honey Boo Boo and John and Kate plus 8 and 19 and counting to be the thing that they would make, the same way that MTV went from the age of doing things like MTV Unwrapped and Uncensored to the Life and Times of R.J. Berger, peak cinema, and then allowing for shit like Awkward to take shit up and take up time, and also Teen Wolf, and then move away from being the music channel, they wouldn't be that problem. But that is what they have done, and therefore that is the problem. The same way that you can have Video Game Donkey sitting there shitting on Resident Evil saying, haha, tank controls, how cringe! Therefore, the only way that these new fag zoomers are going to actually play a video game is when it's been remade and updated for graphical fidelity, so they can actually sit themselves down to entertain themselves with what they consider to be kino, but only after they put their heckin' doggo cringe inside of it. That is the problem. The burning, sathing rage that should exist in the heart for any person that cannot enjoy things without needing to find a context on which, hey, don't you realize that that has a particle of Hitler in it? It has to be studied in a lab. It has to be studied in a lab. Because it is more than just Pavlovian. It is a scientific fact. It is a law of the universe. And it has to be witnessed, moving in parts, so that we can start breaking it down and using it to create infinite energy. More than just creating content for YouTube channels. It has to power the city. It needs to power my console. It needs to give 121 jiggle physics to the squared misnomer of a chud. Then and only then will it truly be based. If they were returned to doing history shit, people wouldn't have an issue to say with it. Because realistically, at this point, the majority of people are incapable of producing something that is historically fun and accurate that entertains people, which Count Dankula's already broken the mold on that. He is probably one of the few people who are actually doing historical content, and it's actually historical, but it's also entertaining. Entertainment remains undefeated. Truthfully. If you stop drinking it for 3 days, it starts tasting like Dr. Pepper. 5 minutes. Okay, let's begin.
Hi.
Hello.
I don't really know how to start this, so I guess
I imagine you would not know how to start it after you tried to say, this man here is a Nazi! He lives in Boogaloo Land! He wears a Hawaiian shirt! Need I say more? FBI, book him!
I'm just gonna start talking, I guess.
I'd prefer if you didn't, but whatever floats your boat, baby.
It's been a while. Hope you've been okay. I didn't want to rip.
I've been amazing. I've been fine. My child is rounding year 2. I'm physically approaching the point where now the heart attacks are just a natural reaction to seeing something happen, and now I can react in advantage. Pre-acting, as someone on the internet would call it. Except instead of a face of me on a YouTube video doing this, instead it's me catching him before he cracks his little head open like an egg. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Really use a script for this video because anything that I say will be talked negatively about. And
I wonder why. It's a mystery, chat. It's a fucking mystery. Why would anybody ever take your words and use them against you? If I tell people I'm gonna get shit on, it will prevent me from getting shit on more. Why don't you throw in a little bit of poor shaming about Patreon? It worked out so great for the last guy. His wife's trauma, bro. His wife's trauma.
if I'd used a written response, I felt like people would be like, "Oh, he's just doing this for PR."
I mean, anything you do will be seen as PR. Your last behavior and last action and interaction on the internet was to antagonize, bully, then scapegoat the actions of another content creator. And then when addressed about your actions scapegoating that content creator, you fled into obscurity, coping and seething behind the walls of your Discord. You avoided attention and then said, "Nuh-uh." I wonder, has that action ever gone over well for any of the people who choose to do it or have it? I don't think it has, Zane. I don't think it has.
I didn't want it to feel like a statement that a politician would put out. I just wanted to.
But you are, in fact, political. You said this man is political because he had a joke once. He's clearly a Nazbol. He has to be executed now for great justice. You believe it is acceptable for people of political sides to be antagonized because they have the, quote, wrong politics. Every action you say and do is going to be seen as political because you have demonstrated that you are, in fact, a political person. You're a political content creator, and you are an antagonizer that wants to use politics as the attack vector to antagonize your chosen targets. And then you hide behind the opinion of, I am too small, I am a smaller content creator, therefore I can't be criticized. You're bullying me when you talk to me. Are you going to add on the I'm new to this? Is that going to be another thing that comes out of your mouth? Or are you going to say, bro, I can't be criticized for it because I'm new to this shit. Should we pull Andy Pants too?
To be me talking to you, human to human. So apologies if this is a bit rambly. This is a little different for me.
I would prefer you sit down in front of a chair and say, listen, here's my real opinions. No cap, no cap. It'd be more honest. I'd still call you bullshit, but it would be more honest. I could take you more seriously. The need to use a script implies that you need to stay on brand and on message. And considering the last message that you gave was, how dare you have a space in my horror franchises? I don't know, bro. It's bold strategy, Cotton. I don't think that shit worked out for you very last time. I think they cooked your ass in the last quarter. That's just my opinion, though.
I was just gonna talk. And I guess I'll start with, kind of a big piece of criticism was that, like, I just sort of disappeared, and...
Because you did? Are you about to contest that? Like, no, I didn't disappear. I was working in a company. You know, making money. Somewhere not on the internet. Which would be good. Are you about to do that? Is this your Mama Max moment? Granted, Mama Max was just antagonizing people who wanted to make sure they couldn't have the ability to have a job. So, lesser comparison, but is that what you're about to claim? You were out in the real world doing real things?
I did that kind of for two reasons. One was that, of course, like, anything that I said wasn't going to help the situation that was happening. And so I just left. And I didn't want to really talk about it, and this is the last time I'm ever going to publicly talk about the situation.
I mean, you should have not talked about it, period, and just returned to doing work. That's what you should have done. Should have put your head in the grindstone, but you didn't. You decided to say, actually, I have some things to say. Don't call it a comeback! I've been coping for years!
Again, I just also felt that people would be kind of, like, annoyed if I, like, tried to, like, come back and start making things again, and just pretend.
Respectfully, and I do mean this for whomever would say it, respectively, fuck them. You already know what you did was wrong, as you coped about it behind screen. And you're clearly not apologizing for your opinion and then pulling a Rich and deleting your entire channel. So, if that's the position you want to take, just go back to making content. In fact, it would be more preferable for you if you made content. Then you wouldn't be dealing with people criticizing and judging you so much, because you would put your head in the books. And if you didn't do anything cringe, then they wouldn't have a reason to address it. And if they don't have a reason to address it, let me turn the sound up. If they didn't have a reason to address it, then you have nothing to concern yourself with to respond to, because you didn't do anything that would be newsworthy. Newsworthy in this case is something that would bring people to cope, but, you know, if you have nothing that would be considered spicy for drama, then what the fuck can I or anyone else say? Truthfully. Of course, that's not the problem. That'd be the reasonable position. But that's not the problem. That's not the problem.
Like nothing ever happened. I didn't want to do that. Also, like, I don't really know how to make this video because the history of, like, YouTube apology videos is like a format that is consistently made fun of for
Because the people who give the apologies are insincere. Because the people give apologies based on the opinions of the people who are going to be hearing the apology instead of the target that should be receiving the apology. If I do something wrong in my relationship, and Lord knows this will move ahead me, if I do something wrong in my relationship, and I try to make a YouTube video to apologize to somebody whose name is not Star, I am doing the apology wrong. Because the apology shouldn't be put on my YouTube channel. Unless it has to do with me addressing something to a wider audience. If that audience literally isn't my paying customers and my paying fan base. That's how that works. That's the reason YouTube apologies are bullshit. They're done for optics. They've always been done for optics. Because, hey, I don't want to be seen as a jackass, but I also don't want to be seen as personable. But if I don't address these problems, people are going to say that I'm not taking accountability. So I'm going to be a cynical bastard and do everything possible to give the lightest air of opinion about something that shouldn't be said publicly and shouldn't be known by people who are not involved, because I want to get out in front of the news. That's the problem with the Notes app apologies. The Note app apologies are a meme because you're not apologizing because you're sorry. You're apologizing because you're sorry that you got caught, and there's no way for you to spin it, so you have to optically do what is best for you, and what's best for you is to say, well, I didn't know what I was doing, but now I know better. I did not learn from my mistakes until this blew up in my face, and now I will learn from it. Using that format, you think that something like the Yasmin Gold apology would be considered a YouTube apology, but in fact it is not. Because you see, a YouTube apology is in itself a tongue-in-cheek and bullshit apology. Reference directly to what I said on the last broadcast on Wednesday. If you are saying, this is a bullshit ban, I don't deserve this, it shouldn't be happening to me, you fundamentally don't believe you did anything wrong, and therefore you must be banned on the platform. Because your actions are not sincere. However, in Zachary's case, he put down the persona and didn't apologize as Yasmin Gold. He apologized as Zachariah. That's not his name. His name is Zach. By doing so, he broke the barrier between the person and the persona, which is half the reason I choose to sometimes use people's names. Because a lot of people like to be a persona rather than themselves. You, yourself, demonstrated you're a petty little fucker. You're a slimy greaseball that knows exactly what you were doing, didn't have any remorse for it, and only was upset that people now knew what you were doing. You pulled a Blair's on, son. You pulled a Blair's on. And just like Illuminati, as they tried to put on a new face mask to go along with the personality that they had for people, you would rather be able to try to bury it and not address it instead of do what many people say. Educate yourself and learn to be better. You don't want to do that. Because that's your line. That's what you're supposed to be saying to everybody else, not everybody else saying to you. To which I say, cope seethe. That's the truth of the matter. That's the actual truth. Now, whether or not people agree with me or not, that remains to be seen. But that's the truth. That's the problem. Anything else is cope. Stop it. Stop lying. Be truthful.
good reason. And I'm not anti-apology at all. I'm not. It's just that, like, usually, like, someone who works on the internet will mess up, and then, like, immediately will put out, like, an apology video and be like, you know, I'm not that person anymore. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I've changed, guys. And it's complete bullshit. You know, everybody knows that it's bullshit because you're like...
Oh, good. So you agree with me. So that's what you're not about to do, right? You're going to give a sincere and honest cope of your actions.
What do you mean you're not that person anymore? You just said that thing 2 days ago. Of course you're that person. And so, like, with my situation, I said I was going to be gone for a month. Clearly, I needed a break. I wasn't doing very well. And I ended up taking more than that because I wasn't ready to come back. And I really wanted to come back with something that showed what I could do. That showed that
I mean, in terms of content, I suppose that works out for you. Be blessed, beloved, but at the same time, you didn't come back because you were hoping for the heat to die down faster. I'm sorry, I don't believe you. You were waiting for the heat to die down. The heat didn't die down faster. You became a meme. You then said, fuck, I have to leave, and then you left. You went back to your planet where your people, the Griftatorlies, they needed you. A special breed of grifter. So alien, in fact, that they are actually paranormal. That's what happened. I don't know why you're giving me this preamble. I know how to do my job, Zane.
I would be willing to listen to criticism of me because I always am. I always want to do better, and so
I don't believe you, but okay. You're willing to hear criticisms. Delete your channel. Let's start there.
I hope that the John Waters video has kind of shown that. This was kind of a wake-up call moment for me. So, you know, that's kind of where I'm at the moment. And I guess one of the main things I wanted to talk about here is that, like, you know, when you do anything in a very public way that it isn't received particularly well, people...
When you harass a content creator and you insist that he hates people despite being a Christian, and then you show contempt for his religious faith, and insist that actually his religious faith is the reason, and not only him, but also his personal friends and associates as well, and I can prove it. Look right here inside this dossier that I constricted. Yes, that is indeed white sticky glue. No other substance that could be.
People are going to do two things, which is, like, ascribe a motive for why you did that thing, and also wildly speculate about yourself to put attributes onto you. You know.
I mean, when you run away from accountability and you disappear into the ether, the only thing people can do is speculate on your motives. I'm allowed to have an opinion of you. I'm so sorry that that upsets you, but everyone's allowed to have an opinion of you, and unfortunately, you did not give yourself the best information of an opinion. Let's turn this on myself for a moment. Sometimes I don't give myself the best outing of opinion, because there are some people who would think that I'm angry, that I'm short-tempered, spite-driven, extremely highly aggressive, and incapable of taking criticism, let alone being able to apologize. However, the problem is that's obviously not true, because if everybody took a catalog of everybody's worst moments in life, then everybody would be considered a problematic person by their worst moments, which is the reason why proselytization, as people like you have done and chosen to do so to others, is cringe. Nobody's ever allowed any kind of reconciliation. They're never allowed to show what they actually do and the compassion or the passions that they have outside the situation that people have decided to ascribe to them. They're called and considered to be the most evil people in existence for reasons that have no justification other than, haha, I hate them because they exist. But you see, haha, people don't hate you because you exist, Zane. People don't attack you unfairly because they don't understand you, Zane. People aren't trying to fuck with your content because, man, this guy just needs taken down a notch. No, you did it to yourself. Stop coping about things that happen to other people that aren't you and take accountability for what is in front of you. Look in front of you. Sin, look at what you've done. Don't make me fucking Morgan you here, bro.
That often aren't true. And, you know, I definitely am guilty of doing that in the past, even in the bad conservative horror movie video. So I kind of wanted to talk more about me here than other people, which is something I don't really do all that much.
Your channel is called InPraiseOfShadows, where you talk about horror films. Why are you considering talking about other people as a part of drama, as a part of content that you create? A little bit of telling on yourself, don't you think? How often have you been talking about people?
Things that has kind of always surprised me, my whole, like, career on YouTube, is people thinking that I hate Christians. And I don't at all. I don't hate religious people at all. I myself...
Oh, Jay has stumbled across it. 1 second. Itchy. Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's funny. Wait, wait a second. Wait, what did I just turn off? Not that. This. It's like Twitter Inception. It's like Twitter Inception. Ah! uh She hasn't responded, so she's probably busy doing something. Push it, dear, and push it there. Do that here and here and here. Back to what we were doing.
I'm a Methodist, and I have gone to annual conference with the Methodists for the past, I think, 4 years.
Methodists?
One of the biggest things that has kind of always surprised me my whole, like, career on YouTube is people thinking that I hate Christians. And I don't at all. I don't hate religious people at all. I myself...
You just specifically hate Wendigo. Listen, I don't have a problem with Christ. I have a problem with that monkey!
I'm a Methodist, and I have gone to annual conference with the Methodists for the past, I think, 4 years because I have an invested interest in how the church is dealing with LGBT members, which is an ongoing thing with the Methodists. I don't hate Christians at all. I can
Cope! I don't believe you.
be very critical of Christians. I don't like evangelicals. I don't like proselytizers. And usually if I'm...
So you don't like religious people, which would then include Christians. I'm sorry. That I don't think that's I don't think that's an argument. I don't think that helps you in this situation, Zane.
being critical of religious people, it's because they're using the religion as part of their online brand. And if you're like...
I mean, you do the same thing. Those who are scientisms do the same thing. They insist things have to be having a normal explanation instead of just going on with the religious explanations or allowing people to have their faith and be spiritual. The insistence that people need to attack the religious beliefs to the point of the secular versus anti-secular opinions, to the point of hypocrisy, the insistence on that religion should not be centered the way that it is, but then you center politicalization and proselytism in the entirety of a curriculum in the primary and secondary school systems. The proselytization on the point of even blushing levels of bluntness, to the degree of, yes, I will tell your child what to do with their lives, and I yet will allow them to hold their dingling in the women's bathroom as a little boy, because I believe that little boys need to be experiencing sexual proclivities on the level of fucking Brian Mullins the Fox telling your parents, and you should do it in front of little Timmy, so little Timmy knows how the mechanical process functions. Niggas like you make the joke clapulations almost not work anymore. Almost. That doesn't help you. Because now it means that you're going to use your religion as a shield while claiming everybody else is using your religion as a sword and a shield. So that makes it better. I would have preferred... No, I just hate this nigga for real. I would have preferred that. I would have preferred... Oh, I don't like or hate them. I just hate him specifically because how dare this gooner be allowed to have things that I don't have? I would have preferred you say that.
Like, mixing money or your business with your religion, that is almost certainly, like, a perversion of whatever your religion is teaching. And, you know, I don't want to get into anything. I'm not trying to, like, double down here with what I'm saying in this. I'm not trying to, like, critique people. I'm just trying to talk about where I come from with things. Because I'm realizing, like, a big issue with my writing is saying something and just assuming that people understand what I mean, instead of actually trying to explain my point more, because I cover a lot of points in videos, and
that means that people can criticize those points in those videos, and the amount of points is not going to gish gallop people into not addressing them. The fuck? Dumbass? Huh? Are you stupid? That certainly won't ever help you. Oh, I have a lot of arguments, and I don't have the time to retread all those arguments. I mean, why did you create all those arguments in the first place? Did you believe that by creating those arguments, it would allow you to have a justified out? Because it doesn't. I'm sorry, I'm still finna hang you. Huh?
Sometimes I'm guilty of hitting a point really quick and then moving on. Especially because I kind of am also guilty of making a lot of my work assuming wrongly that people are familiar with my past and my work as well.
Why would I ever need to be aware of your back? See, Carl, you need to know Zane's entire life story in order for you to understand the context of his works. If you don't understand exactly how he got swirlied and was given a hand job in the 11th grade behind the dumpster, you're not truly going to get the biting opinion of why he considers conservatives being the people who should not be allowed to watch films about horror, and how he thinks less of the people that are supposed to be the victims in horror films, because you see, he's just built different, okay? Nigga, that's pretty weird! That's really weird! Imagine if for a moment I said, you know, in order to understand this near 3 to 4 hour video based on reactions of breaking down every opinion from Pillboy, FD Signifier, and this random motherfucker who calls himself Paradigm Shift on the internet, you need to have gone through the entire backlog of the life of a hyphen to see Carl growing up through school, through his life, dealing with the South. You need to know everything about my personal Jesus in memory of his dead friend, so you can really understand the mindscape that he's in whenever he's making these shit posts on Twitter. Alright, bold strategy. Let's see if that works out for you.
Well, I kind of make every video, or did make every video, as a sequel to all of my previous work. And that kind
I mean, you can do that. I mean, that's what Dr. Emmercam does. That's what some people tend to do. Because some videos require the existence of being follow-ups. It makes them work better. Because the intention, if you do this, is every single video in itself is a series based on how things have gotten. On my channel, as well as on Dr. Emmercam's channel, if you go through the backlog of my content and you look at the playlists that they're organized into, you can see that there is a Carl vs. the World playlist, just as there is a Dr. Emmercam vs. the World playlist. Now, I mentioned Mike Christensen, which is a member of the Honey Badgers, which goes alongside of Allison Tiemann, and Hannah Wallen, and the Prim Reaper, and I'm forgetting the name of the Mexican, which is basically the tech guy, and his wife, the stapler. There is a lot of material that has existed over the years that is the result of the zeitgeist of political commentary that could be had at any one time. Everything from Rachel Bloom, I believe is the professional name she's going with, Rachel Bloom's cringe that was a part of the musical performance on Bill Nye versus the World, I believe it was called, and everything from the ice cream orgies bit to even Milo, what is his fucking last name? I'm trying to remember his last name. It's not coming. Her last name. It's not coming to me. Milo Stewart. Everything that has come from that time period. Milo Stewart. Illuminati, which is really just a retread of everything to do with Franny. All these people, wow, I got 2 fucking darks in this fucking series, and I didn't get any last fucking series until I had to force it. That's bizarre. All of these things come from the same time period and are spawned from the same era of material. And the problem with this era of material is that if you remove the context of material by hiding the original video so people can't see it in its original context to react to, it doesn't remove the material existing. Like, you saying any of this doesn't undo what you did. And saying, well, you needed to understand where I was in my life to understand why I said what I said. No, I don't! I just have to see you attacking him! To put this in any context, excuse me, in order to understand the motivations of this terrorist that decided to shoot the president, you need to understand where they were in their life. No, I don't. I just need to understand where they took the shot from and what their likely motivations were, and then send them to jail. I don't gotta consider shit, because I don't need to, and I don't have to. You lucky people choose to, quote, hear you out as it is to begin with. None of us should cover you, technically, because you are not a person that would give charitability to anybody else if it were you on the chopping block, and you had the, well, if it was somebody else on the chopping block, and you had the ability to do so because you believe that it's not just to do so. It's not worth your time. It's not worthy. But unfortunately, that's not how the machine works. That's not how this job works. And it's also how accountability does not work. No, I'm so sorry. That's not how this is going to go down. For all the years in which that content has been made, or will be made, just as how Mike has done it, and considering that he is probably one of many influencers that were an influence on me and my own creative style and how I do things, no, when I see some shit, I'm going to respond to it, and I'm going to do so the same way that all people did, starting in their fucking bedrooms. Because there's a reason to react to it. Probably, and most importantly, because if we don't catalog that it existed, you will imply that it never did. And people are just criticizing people because they're just mean.
Kind of came up twice with the bad conservative horror movie video. One was an offhanded mention to Lovecraft that I talked about, where people are like, what the fuck is he talking about? Like, and you know, like, because I had made like a 2-hour video.
Also, Jay can't come, she's editing.
About Lovecraft in the past, I felt like I could just make an offhanded, like, quick one-sentence reference to Lovecraft and it not be a big deal, and not explain it. You know what I mean? Because I just assumed people will get what I'm talking about because of that video. And another big one that came with is when I talked about race in Appalachia. A lot of people weirdly thought that I was Northern or not from Appalachia. People were saying, like, you know, Appalachia.
Weirdly? You talk shit about a group of people about their fucking caste of financial wealth and intelligence the same way that Chris Valenti, some weird fucking long-haired guy on TikTok who's usually known as the guy who likes to talk about a bunch of fucking miraclism and did the exact same shit and was getting his shit pushed in. You know, the guy who did the voice edit that's like, and then we came in with that American Eagle screech, that guy. You did the same thing he did. And he, too, tried to walk that shit back and say, oh, guys, I'm sorry, I just said it in the video, I didn't really mean that shit, and he got hit the fuck alive by people who came from Appalachia, too! And that happened around the time of not just the first hurricane, but the round 2-ass hurricane! No, my nigga, you are cooked. I'm sorry. There's no appending weirdly to that statement to make that shit okay. You said it with your chest. Again, I would prefer you be honest and say it with your chest and say, no, I meant that shit. I meant that shit. I mean, I'm sorry that the way you took it, but I meant that shit. I would respect you more. But unfortunately, now we can't. Not that I ever did.
Sends its regards and shit like that. But, like, you know, I've lived in the Appalachian Mountains basically my whole life. And I made, like...
And it's weird that you still had the opinions you did, but that being the case. But, you know, who am I to stop you from coping?
A 2+ hour video explaining my complicated views of the American South with the Joanne Denton video, where I talked about how, like, I love North Carolina and how I've lived here my entire life and how much of an impact this place has had on me. But also to pretend that the South doesn't have a major problem with racism.
Nigga, no the fuck it doesn't! Ironically enough, the South doesn't have a problem with race. Because if the South had as big as a problem with race as the Midwest and the Central West did, it would always be a hot pot bed of racism, bigotry, and outbursts and riots every single week. And you would never stop hearing the end of it from me. Because I live 2 hours away from Atlanta, and if you think these fucking riots would not go from the top of Bankhead down to Buckhead, and then across Central, all the way to the fucking, convention centers where the majority of things like AWA and DragonCon and ImageCon are held, motherfucker, you wouldn't have anime shit in the West, period. Because all the convention centers would be destroyed and wrecked beyond fucking repair. We wouldn't be able to have shit in the South. We barely get to have shit in the South. But that's less to do with we destroy everything. That's only in Columbus. It's less to do with everything's getting destroyed by rampant violence and more to do with ignorant motherfuckers do bougie and bourgeoisie level shit in Atlanta and then get cooked by a random influencer. The last time which this happened being Keith Lee passing through ATL to try out all the food spots, and the bourgeoisie, check my fucking pronunciation, ass restaurants like The Real Milk and Honey, not the Milk and Honey bar. There are two of them. There's the bougie ass one, which is The Real Milk and Honey, where niggas wear suits and think they're better than you, and then there's just Milk and Honey, where they make food. All of these spots got revealed as full of shit because they had the audacity to be bougie to people in the to people in the company and people in the country and people in the city. Because celebrities would pass through these spots and they'd think, oh yeah, a celebrity passed through. That means I can do whatever the fuck I want, right? And even celebrities said, they're on that bullshit out here. The timing that they be on is some real bullshit. And it was only when it was revealed that they stopped being on that bullshit because they got shamed into silence. The intention of even trying to say, who the fuck's Keith Lee? Definitely backfired on their ass. That's what happened. That's the truth of what happened. Extrapolate that, but into everything. But most especially from fucking today. Assert that directly into anime and video game discourse. You would never fucking hear the end of it from my channel. I would never have to look for material to talk about. Because every single day, I'd be on Black Twitter's ass. Live on screen. Every single day. Every single day, I would never run out of material. Nobody would ever run out of material. Because the most hypocritical opinion is always going to be had by bougie-ass black niggas who have never fucking had an opinion that was outside of the popular one because they don't want to get cooked for disliking things that they were going to be seen as lame for liking. Cope, Zane. Cope. The problem that the South has when it comes to racism and bigotry is that there is a specific level of mid-level class white and suburbanite class white that believes that because they come from a certain background that they do, that they can steal from Target. And because they constantly steal from the mom and pop shops that they say are better than all the other jobs and companies that exist in the area, they are more than happy to say that things don't go wrong here, but can't lend a single fucking dollar to a food bank, but also can't lend a single fucking hand to a soup kitchen and then imply I'm a good person. That's the biggest problem with the South. Southern hospitality ass niggas who have the audacity, and I do mean niggas, that imply that they're good people, but they're inherently not. Because I was raised Catholic. But when it came to actual Catholicism, to turn the other cheek and to also give unto those who do not have any, and to come as you are to the church, they are sweating in their $5,000 Catan and sipping on mimosas out at regular stops that cost you at minimum $30 for 2 plates of food that aren't really worth that much of a damn, but it's a social hotspot, so I guess it'll do. That is the problem. That is what causes any racism and bigotry. Because the old white people don't have a problem with the people who live in the city as long as they understand we are two different types of people. Because they can remember when the racism and bigotry is common and then when it was just underneath the surface. And then there's everybody else who's never experienced a single bit of racism and bigotry. Because their grandmama told them about it once. And they insist that the grandmama story is their story now. So sorry, Bethany. No, you did not get antagonized by your grandmama because you decided to like things. Me? Less I say about my personal experience, the better. But no. That didn't happen to y'all. What happened to most people is they wanted something racial to happen to them, but it didn't. It's insulting. It's fucking insulting, dude. It's insulting. The sheer arrogance to say that is wild. Because that's also a stereotype. So instead of combating the stereotype that you're already being accused of, you decided to go with a different stereotype. And that makes it better? If I feel like I wasn't about to have a migraine with you, I'd slam my head on the desk comically.
Is like kind of insane, you know, and I talk in that video about like the heavy Klan presence in areas of North Carolina. I talk about casual social racism and stuff like that. So like I felt like I was okay to make a one sentence like throwaway thing because I'd already explained my position on that in the past. I don't hate Appalachians. I live here. And I have chosen to live here for a long time now.
I imagine there'd be a bunch of people who would say, but you shouldn't live here because you embarrass the rest of us, and they would not be wrong in saying so. Because you have embarrassed almost every single person that belongs in any group that you affiliate yourself with. They have all literally done the Mr. Incredible, you're not affiliated with me. Or has done it on behalf of the horror fandom. Motherfuckers like me, I can do it right now. I can do it on behalf of all the people who just happen to live here in the South, whether it be by their own choices or because their family was brought down here and they didn't have a choice in the matter as a member of the family in their youth. There are plenty of people who are willing to say it on the behalf of just social culture of, wow, this YouTuber really hates a group of people that he has no reason to be enviable of. And it has to, realistically, a lot of it has to do with the level of success that you have and you being jealous. Not a single person that you affiliate yourself to in the spaces that you choose to colonize with your stupid takes wants to claim you. Because why would they? In truth, why would they? Whenever it comes to you receiving criticism, that's not what I meant. I didn't mean that. That's what you chose to start a video off with. Everybody just had a whole bunch of takes about me that were unfair. They can't criticize me for that. They don't know my story. You know my chapters. You don't know my stories. Turn the page. Turn the page. Nigga, I skimmed the glossary, and your about and forward are shit.
And, you know, the reaction to that in particular, I think, was really strong. And, you know, there was also a lot of criticism saying that, like, I didn't handle the situation gracefully. Which I didn't. But also I'd like to see anybody that would. You know, things got really...
Define graceful in this situation. Is handling a situation gracefully running with your tail between your legs? Is handling the situation gracefully admitting that you said things that you in fact did say, owning up to it and saying, yes, this is how I feel? Or is it doing what you did? Because you've done all of these things, but then you said, but I have a reason. I would not say that's graceful. I would not say that's graceful. That's why your person and your persona are the same. You are your character. You're not playing a bit. You're not playing a role. This is who you actually are. The snakery doesn't work, dude. We've seen behind the curtain. You were naked. It was very small. Very small. No girth. No girth.
really intense there. My entire town a few weeks ago was basically destroyed from the hurricane. And like...
Yes, we know.
There were like tweets still 5 months later saying, well, at least InPraiseOfShadows probably died in that. You know?
That's very horrible. They should not have said that. They should have said, you should be suffering and have nothing so that we don't have to see your horrid videos again. Not wishing for you to be dead, but wishing you don't come back to content. Because, bro, your opinions are so fucking boring, they put me to sleep! To sleep! And then after rewatching them after, they're still shit! But less about that.
Things were really, really hot and uncomfortable. You didn't see...
What? For what? One moment. Hold that thought, Jack. Don't bust it out yet. I'll be right back. Big man Blastoise. Boom, boom, boom. Big man Blastoise. Big man Blastoise. Big man Blastoise. Where was I? Ah, yes. They wouldn't be wishing for your death, but they would be wishing for the end of your bad content, because your content is certifiably bad. Ratifiably it is bad. Some of your content before, maybe could be passable. The content that you currently choose to do now, it's shit. You shouldn't do it anymore. Quit now, while you're behind.
See the best side of me in that. And that's all that I can say is, it was a bad day for me. It was a bad period for me. You know, I was kind of made into this, like, cartoon character where I am impossible to get along with people who are on the right, which is actually not true at all. I know
We don't believe you.
this sounds like made up, but the guy that I hired to work on the set with me for the John Waters video was wearing a Make America Great Again hat, like, the entire time we were working. But he does
He was wearing a shirt. That means I don't hate a group categorically for their beliefs or for their voting practices. I am not a bigot. And Hitler just had very stern opinions about the Jewish people. He did not call for a German Intifada. That is not what happened. He was just very concerned about the people in his country. You have to understand, there's layers to this shit.
a good job. And that's just the realities of living in the American South. I am not this insane person who, like, it's impossible to get along with. So, yeah. And with the Appalachian thing came an added commentary that I was kind of surprised about, where a lot of people said that I hate poor people, or I look down on people, that I, like, hate lower income individuals, which, like, I'm a lower income individual in Appalachia. Like, I don't hate anybody like that. I don't hate anybody at all. I think that everybody should have their needs met no matter what they believe. You know, as far as, like, reviews are concerned, I am gay, and with that comes, like, a certain level of snobbery with, like, the arts and stuff like that. But because I, like, have high expectations of works of art does not mean that I hate poor people. Okay.
Excuse me, what was that last thing you just said? Did you just say being gay comes with snobbery in the arts? No, I didn't hear that. No, I didn't hear that. That was not an argument. I did not just hear that. No, I didn't hear that. No. I was too busy looking at the Trail of Fire attributes. No, that was not an argument that I just heard. I am clearly delusional, and that is not what I just heard. So we're gonna listen again.
Wearing a Make America Great Again hat, like, the entire time we were working. But he does a good job. And that's just the realities of living in the American South. I am not this insane person who, like, it's impossible to get along with. So, yeah. And with the Appalachian thing came an added commentary that I was kind of surprised about, where a lot of people said that I hate poor people, or I look down on people, that I, like, hate lower income individuals, which, like, I'm a lower income individual in Appalachia. Like, I don't hate anybody like that. I don't hate anybody at all. I think that everybody should have their needs met no matter what they believe. You know, as far as, like, reviews are concerned, I am gay, and with that comes, like, a certain level of snobbery.
If I was not in the middle of a level 2 Azerite encounter, I would get onto my bed and I'd start pantomiming the exact thing I did the last time somebody said something extremely stupid like that, or something very stupid like that came to my knowledge. Only this time, it'd be a bundle of sticks! A bundle of sticks! But no. I'm gonna let you finish, so that when you're done and you burnt your ass, I can throw you in the trash. Keep going.
With, like, the arts and stuff like that. But because I, like, have high expectations of works of art does not mean that I hate poor people. Okay, I don't think that certain people should be in power. I don't think that certain people should have social power. And in that, I kind of want to get into the conservative video itself. Okay, so in the, like, hating poor people thing, apparently I also don't like normal guys. And, like, the thing that's kind of funny about that is that, like, kind of this whole situation came about because I was a normal guy. So, like, I'm
I'm not just any gay. I'm a normal strag. I don't sip basic water. I sip Voss water because it's healthier for me. I don't hit on guys that I meet down at Piggly Wiggly. I hit on men that I meet outside the church on Tuesdays.
I'm notoriously difficult to get a hold of, and that's because I'm not really online at all. I don't tweet. I genuinely don't spend much time on Twitter at all. I don't have any other...
Yeah, you just sit inside your Discord and you cope and see whenever you have something to say, and then people screenshot it, and then you get mad that people screenshot it.
Other social media. Before this, I
Discord and Twitter and TikTok and all these things are not your diaries.
was getting on Discord like once every 6 months. For the most part, I'm not friends with other online content creators.
I'm barely in the belief that you have friends. I'm barely in the belief that you have friends. But okay. Like a ghost on Halloween. IPOS came back from the dead. Oh, that's funny. Yes, Frosted, that is exactly what he said.
Probably watch in between 3 and 5 YouTube videos a month. And that is not like a dig at other YouTubers. That's not saying that they don't make excellent work, because there's a lot of great work on YouTube. But
from people who aren't
you. Like this thing where back when I used to make comics, I would draw comics all day, and the last thing I'd want to do when I finished drawing for 10 hours would be to pick up comics and read them before I went to bed. You know, I didn't want my entire existence to be comics. I wanted inspiration from everywhere in my life. And so I used to watch a lot of YouTube, back before I was a YouTuber. But then I started making videos, and I make videos all day long, and I don't want to turn around and then watch more YouTube videos. So when I say I don't watch a lot of YouTube, it's not to put down other creators, but just to try and to explain how this situation happened, because the why is kind of, self-apparent. And so when you're not an online person, but you feel compelled to write a piece about online culture, looking at it from a distance, trying to figure out what is real, it's a different kind of research. And I totally was not the guy to do that job. I felt like it was important. I felt like nobody else would do it. And I knew that the reaction was not going to be good. I knew it was going to be bad. So kind of most of my mistakes and problems came from that, though. Because,
I didn't have a bad take because I had a bad take. I had a bad take because I was trying to hyperimpose my position pre-text reactionary to arguments that I thought were going to happen, because I didn't want to read the room. So I read the future's room. We've entered a region of pre-action. Premonition action. No longer will we criticize people based on whether or not they did or did not watch a YouTube video. We will judge them based on if they consulted a fortune teller before having a bad take on the internet. You see, you have to understand. The Lunchable, the Lunchly scam, and finding mold inside of Lunchly packets isn't because three YouTubers decided they were going to make a brand deal to sell all of their appliances and food products. No. They were being attacked. They were being attacked by a group of people in the future. And so they consulted Madame Cleo to get the 411 and who would be commentating on them. Hello, Mom. You want to lie with Miss Cleo? You gotta help me, Fam, you gotta help me, man. Fam, I'm getting cooked on the line, but this man named Single Player Call. I gotta find out things about him. Well, darling, have you tried finding him in the laps of a white woman? Oh, if it wasn't so fucking stupid! Oh, God! Oh, we are on a level of cope we haven't seen VSChat, and we are rackishing past the 25! The scale only goes to 10! There are 15 levels of cope here! Can they get higher? You're gonna cringe me higher, higher, so high. Ho, ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho. Can I get more cringe? So cringe. What's gonna kill me first? The bad opinions or the Oreo soda that is starting to taste more like Dr. Pepper? You think always I'm
I didn't know who Sneaker was before I made that, and I didn't really know who he was when I posted that video. And so while it's like really serious, and I admit that, and I am sorry, I took the video down like immediately because I realized the video had major problems. It also at the same time, in retrospect, was a little bit funny that I tried to be like, this guy's the fucking worst. At least, you know, according to Hitler. And like, you know, I fucked it. I fucked it pretty bad. And there's not really a lot else I can say about it. You know, what's done is done. I can't take it back. But also that's like what a whole section of YouTube is about. I may have done that really badly, but like, there are channels that just exist just to talk shit about people like all the time.
Okay. Those are drama channels. They specialize in drama and topical news. You are a horror aficionado, if we even dare give you the rank of cinephile. You should have stayed your ass in horror talks. But since you did not, oh my god, he actually did make the I'm new with this argument. Oh my god. No. If you stayed your ass in your space, maybe this wouldn't have happened. But you didn't. So we're here now. So stop all that crying and take it like a man. And bend over and think of England.
And I don't want to be that guy.
Or New England.
I'm not trying to be that guy. I'm not trying to escalate the situation. I'm just trying to describe my perspective of how this happened. Because at the end of the day, everything's fine. You know, I fucked up. But also, nobody that I mentioned in that video was harmed at all. You know, everybody...
Nobody died, no one was harmed, nothing happened physically. So it's acceptable that I tried to attack people and ruin their livelihoods. It didn't work. Why are you upset? He still lives. Bro, it doesn't matter if I try to shoot your mom in the face. I missed. What's the problem? She still lived. These are arguments made by people who are very bad at video games and say, I ganked your lane and he still died. Why are you upset? This is what that argument is. That doesn't make the argument good, sir. Not even close to being good. Not at all. It doesn't make it acceptable. It's not cogent. I don't know why you're saying it. Okay. Alright.
But he's doing fine, and that's kind of like how that genre of YouTube works anyways.
No, that is a horrible characterization of how drama YouTube works. The mechanics itself are much more left up to the interpretation of the people who are reacting, and whether or not people get to know who this person is, and if they look at their content. But, in the sphere of just a simple reactor, drama happens. Perhaps I should put this on a board. One moment, we'll get there. This actually well, no. I can still map it out, but it's not really that big of a map. It's very simple. But the only complexity happens at the level of understanding. But since I actually have a low point, I can actually demonstrate it. So Zane, the mechanics of this are very simple, okay? It is very simple. I will point it out to you. The first thing is everything you just said is a lie. You are fully coping. No. Twitter and TikTok and all these places do not just function in a, well, he lived, he's alive, why am I being criticized? level of drama or existence. That is cope. That is you coping. That is you coping. Okay? Alright? Let's get that right. Alright? So, the way it works is, one, drama happens. Okay? Drama happens. And then people react to that drama. What is this? Oh, I clicked somewhere on the screen here. And then drama happens. Okay? People react to it. People react to the reactions. Then, after people react to the reactions, people react to the reactions of the reactions of the reactions. Ad infinitum in a cycle until that hook. New information enters into the fray, and back into the drama cycle it goes. You did something dumb, people saw it, people reacted to it, you reacted to those people, they reacted to you, reacting to them, reacting to you. They then kept that cycle going until new information entered into the focus, like your Discord messages, and everything else you did, and anything you hid, and anything you deleted, and anything you said out of what you said and deleted, and the cycle went round and around and around and around and around and around and around until the new cycle moved forward. The only time where there are 3 factors that change this is, one, when you do something so stupid that everything harmonizes against you and leads to your destruction. 2, you are an innocent victim that is being set up by somebody who is using the meta game strategy of this entire cycle to set you up the bomb. You are an innocent victim who is being set up by someone who is knowledgeable and powerful. Or thirdly, and this rarely happens, you are right. You're right. But it's too late. It doesn't matter. The information being true doesn't matter because the outcome that would be necessary and required is literally some buzzer beater type shit. Some secret deal, some secret workover, some secret scheme was going to happen, and you had to be heard before the action came to pass. But because nobody saw it before it was too late, now it goes through. I will give you an example if I can find it on the timeline, because there's literally an example happening right now concerning somebody striking people using policy concern complaints because they're not as moderated by YouTube as copy strikes are. It's on my timeline. I know I favored it. I think I have to go Sid Alphas because I think Sid talked about it. Here we go. From Sid Alpha. This is the third example of the situation I'm talking about. This is a situation that's currently developing. Somebody, by the name of Josh Edits, is going to file DMCA strikes against people as privacy complaints because they do not have legal regulation and are dependent on YouTube TOS. The intention of doing this is so that they don't have to deal with the problem that most people would deal with. And that is the problem. That is the concern. Excuse me, it's not Josh Edits doing it, it's actually Blurky. I misspoke. But This is the type of situation you're dealing with. Those are the type of circumstances that matters in. Yours is not that circumstance. You're not being antagonized by bigger content creators and needing the help of somebody who is a bigger content creator. You weren't in the situation that I was with Zombie Unicorn. You weren't being antagonized by Natalie Casanova. That didn't happen, dude. H-I-N. 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 Is that short for something? Because I know there's a no, it's our part of concern. And I know there is also Josh the editor. But yes, I did misspeak, so I already corrected myself for it. Unless I missed somebody else that it's about. Against him. Okay. But you didn't, that's not the situation happening to you. So that's not even something that would be relevant there. But you wouldn't even know that because then you don't exist in that sphere. You don't take your time looking at the entire mechanics of how it works for you to even know that. So what are we talking about? InPraiseOfShadows. Typing while on the elliptical. Okay.
The whole drama machine
I had to think for a second, like, wait, she's on the stair machine or she's on a flat plane?
ultimately just exists for money. And I shouldn't have been a part of that. I shouldn't have contributed to that. I felt like there were important points to make. I did not word them well. I had no fucking chill. I could have done pretty much everything else better, but you live and learn. You know, I don't know what else to say, other than I will do better, and I kind of want to get into, like, personal criticisms against myself now, because I think that's a good segue. So, like, with that video, there was a lot of comparison to the Dan Olsen video that came out soon after mine, and the H-Bomber guy plagiarism video. There was a lot of, like, comparing the three of us, and I think, like, the only...
Because most of you are out of tone, out of tune, and hypocritical, and very smug trolls remorse type people who like to attack other people, but when it's time for that attack to be used on you, disappear into the ether, never to be seen and heard from again, for as long as the tactic is viable, you will always say, no, I can do it, you can't. Are you sure that's the elevation you want to use there? Because I would say you probably don't want that comparison, to be clear, because he made his video out of spite on another content creator, hoping that he could try to shame him into silence, you know, and that was also unacceptable. That doesn't save you. It doesn't save you. You are not safe.
only commonality between those three videos is YouTubers talking about YouTubers.
That's not accurate. Not even fucking close. Okay. That's clear cope, but that's the normal kind of cope instead of, you know, it's different because I'm gay. We do a different level of of criticism, which I'm still reeling from that, by the way. My head is still throbbing. Not like that. My head is still throbbing having heard that. So, nobody can criticize you except another gay? Do we need to go into Shay Apocalypse's basement and go get Rantasmo out of Lindsay Ellis's basement so that we can have you criticized by a fellow gay? Do we have to go rally the queers like Gondor and come fly in on rainbow fucking griffins? Okay. Moving on.
Two of them being good videos and one of them being like a really bad video. But people were ascribing, like, saying that I was jealous. And that's why I was making that video. And I just want to say...
well, see, back on my other point from earlier. If you run away from the internet in a situation that you caused and you don't take accountability for it, people will be left to make clear assumptions of what they think is the motivation since you provided none. So, yes, they're gonna think that you are, in fact, coping and seething because of popularity. Because you didn't tell them your motivation. And the things that you're saying now that are supposed to be your truth still sound like bullshit. So, we still don't believe you. That doesn't mean that there's no reason to apologize, therefore you should never apologize. There is a reason to apologize, but in your situation, there was no reason for you to open your mouth because you knew everything you were about to say was a fucking lie. Like, you're still lying, even now. So what's the point of talking? What is it to talk about? I know you're lying, you know you're lying, he, she, we, they know you're lying.
I am not a jealous man, and I never have been.
You're just a gay
I
man.
have never made a single video on YouTube to chase trends. I have never made a video...
Well, that's a lie. Technically, all of us chase trends on some level, because we're all chasing the algorithm. Because ever since people like you, which is to say people like H-Bomber Guy, said that everybody who's against them in the political zeitgeist are evil, cringe Nazis that are going to bring up the rise of Trump, they were made into non-priority creators, and they themselves made into priority creators. With or without Trolls Remorse, we all trace trends, because we want to be able to talk about things that are currently happening. That's what a trend is. Current events are things that are happening now. While people can make careers off of things that have happened before in the past, it only is in the context of things that are happening now. Just like all the videos that keep trying to make use of Moment 38 from the FGC. You always want to talk about things in the context of what's currently happening and what's currently relevant. Not just shit that you want to talk about because, hey, here's something that people will put their energy behind. ...
because someone made a popular video like that. You know, that is not the kind of guy that I am. And I never...
Good fool me.
I've always made what I think is interesting, what I am compelled to do, what I think is right to do. You know, I can definitely...
So you were compelled to say that conservatives are not supposed to ever be in horror? You were compelled to say that the lower class bumpkin of the story are supposed to be the real villains, unlike the cannibal family? That's what you... Oh, okay, I'm just taking you at your word. I'm just taking you at your word.
Definitely work on my tone with critical pieces, but like I wasn't doing that video as a ripoff of somebody else's style. You know, for better or worse, that video was authentically me, and to prove that, you can go back and watch the video on Encyclopocalypse that I did the previous summer that has like the exact same tone and wording and style and presentation of that bad conservative horror movie video. You know, they're very, very similar. I feel like critically, this was very me. If it came across as being a ripoff of somebody else, that was not the goal. You know, I feel like that came across to some people and not to some people, but that's all I have to say on that. But similarly to the Encyclopocalypse video, I wasn't trying to ruin anybody's life. I wasn't doing this because I wanted a lot of views. In fact, I did know that people were going to hate this. You can go back on my Twitter, and like weeks before I posted it, I said, my next project people are really going to hate. If I said that people are really going to hate this, then that doesn't line up with the narrative of me doing it.
That's already cope itself. You really, I said it as a joke, but you actually tried to pre-act to outrage before it happened. That doesn't make it valid. That's not how that works. You cannot say, listen, you can't say that I'm the ego-headed like that. Look, I said that people are allowed to hate me right before I said something that I knew was going to be inflammatory and that would make people dislike me. I'm not egotistic. No, not at all. Ugh. Ugh, sniffle, 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 ugh. And I don't think anybody else was criticizing you for copying somebody's style either. That definitely was not on the list of things that was said. Of the things people called you and the things people said about you, they were not striking you for aping someone's style. Which, when the left does it, is called a homage. But, you know, moving on.
Because I wanted to be popular. You know, with the jealousy thing, like, it feels very strange to me. Because to my ears, it's like critiquing the president and saying something that you don't like that the president did. And then somebody saying, oh, you're just saying that because you want to be president. And like, no, I assure you, I don't want to be the president. Critical pieces can exist on people without them, like, destroying people, and I actually say that in the Bad Conservative Horror Movie video. I said with the John Squire section of that video that I don't want to ruin people's lives because of things that they've said, that I think that we should be forgiving and open to people changing. And if it was just some, like, dumb thing said, like, as an 18-year-old, Who gives a shit? Everybody said really dumb things when they were a kid, and that shouldn't be.
But you're not a child.
I just saw things that I disagreed with from people that I felt like had a big public platform. Being critical of that.
You're not a child. And as a boy with a big boy britches, you don't get to say, well, I'm not hurting people. It didn't hurt anyone. Did you die? I just had criticisms of people. Why am I being attacked like I actually tried to murder him? Again, just because they didn't die didn't mean you didn't do damage. And just because you didn't do damage doesn't mean that you should be instantly forgiven for your behavior and actions, since you clearly show no remorse over it.
That doesn't mean that you want their lives to be ruined. You know, I ultimately was making that...
Other than, doing it with the intention of attempting to ruin them by saying what you thought was the most scathing opinion you could give, which was, he likes guns! He likes guns! He likes guns! I swear to God, if I had taken any footage that you said about Donut Operator and I sent it to the beat of Big Man Blastoise, it would probably pop off as a fucking trend. Big man donut, big man donut, big man donut, doom doom doom. Big man donut, big man donut, big man donut. It would not be hard. Just because people would hear what I said from here, then take it and be like, oh no, fuck that guy. Absolutely, I'll make this shit pop just as a meme. For real, for real. Because that's how the internet works. That's how drama works. But, you know more than I do, I guess. You have the curse that when you say something that is untrue, it becomes true by the universe. He knows not what he does. He did not cast the first cringe. He nearly baked the stone. And then got baked.
As an invitation for wanting people to do better. And if the one person who comes out of bad conservative horror movie deciding to do better is me, then that's a good thing. You know?
Are you a conservative? No. So why would that be ever a thing you would say? That still sounds like cope, Zane.
One of the major criticisms of me that came up a lot in that time period was related to citing sources, which I fully upfront admit I can be a lot better at. And starting from now, I will be. The John Waters video, if you go and look at it, has a full works cited in the description. Historically, I do try and show where I get my information from, but I always tried to do it in a visual way. Historically, I would say according to Variety, and then I'd throw up a screenshot of the Variety article, and post that so everybody could see the title and where I got it from, but being done in...
But the better way to do that would just simply be going over the article and giving the link of it in the description box of your video for citation and reference. Because when you do what you did, you pull a Noah Samson. And if you pull a Noah Samson, all of us are going to pull a Think Before You Sleep. And we're going to criticize you and mock you for doing bad research. And because I know her personally and know enough about data heuristics just in my past working on fucking esports and analytics, esports analytics. I wanted to say analyses. I would just call up Aiden, and then Aiden and I would do an Aiden Paladin on you. And we would go all ton of vote all up inside your ass. Scientifically. Literally. Because that's lazy. Because you're insisting that other people are going to do the work and that they should trust you. No. They don't need, nor should they trust you. In that capacity, in which you do, you are an essayist. But if you say you want to do a historical piece on something, you're no longer in the position of an essayist. You are now a journalist. And it is now your job to do your job. And your job is to show it to them. Your job is to find it, research it, show it, demonstrate why it's real, and then make sure they know it's real. Document it. Make sure that when it's documented, you keep referencing the work. When you discover somebody's tried to remove the information, you provide documentation of the original, and you talk about what was there, and you compare it to what was now left, especially if it was then subject to rewrites and censorship, because the first article title is not always the article title that they go with. It's usually, especially if they choose to go with intending to use outrage bait to make it go viral on places like Twitter, which is why many of us started archiving things. Most commonly this being done in games media, but it's something that originated from actual media, regardless of political involvement or not. That is their job. That is the job of any person who wants to call themselves somebody who does something for history or does something for journalism. Because anything other than that is an opinion piece. Even while doing the research to give something historical, we can give our opinion about it, but I can still tell you, Moment 37 happened. It was real. Daewoo Mahar was indeed in that chair, cooking Justin Wong. It indeed did happen. They were in the same room at the same time. What you're doing is, man, people really didn't like my take, but they just gotta understand that in context, it all makes sense. Because no the fuck it doesn't. Why do you think that's an acceptable answer? And why do you keep going back to that source as your answer for doing it? Probably because you believe that you did nothing really wrong.
Kind of a fun visual way. Clearly, people don't really like that. So I can do a full traditional, like, works cited where I list everything from now on. You know.
I mean, if that's what you were going to do in the beginning, you should have been doing that, period. Ugh. Ugh, 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 ugh. Ugh. Ugh, 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 ugh.
My entire career, I have tried to approach everything with compassion and understanding and love.
That's a lie.
And you don't have to believe that, but I hope that my track record shows that. You
No! It does not!
saw me on a really bad day. And I have tried for the past 5 months to really reckon with that and actually confront that. You know, I didn't want to put out, like, an apology video 2 days afterwards because nobody learns things in 2 days. That's just reacting. It's not listening to what people say and acting. And there's a big difference there. And like everyone, I'm a work in progress. You know?
I mean, you can be a work in progress, but your hatred against every person you chose to attack seemed pretty complete, baked, and done. You tell me you can't even get bigotry and antagonism right? What good are you?
And I'm not saying that to protect my money. I'm not saying that to protect my reputation.
What money? What reputation?
I'm saying that because it's true. And if I wanted to protect my money, you know, or my reputation, I would have done this on, like, the main channel. You're only watching this if you sought this out. You know?
No. Many of us are watching this because we got notifications about it and or saw other people talking about it. Which you think is the same thing, but it's not. People see this and are hearing it because you did stupid shit. And, as expected, you are now coping and seething. Saying, no, I'm fine, I didn't do anything wrong, no, these people just hate me for real, no. How about people can have a reason to dislike you because you went out of your way to be dislikable? How about people have a reason to be looking at what you're saying now because in the past, you decided that it was acceptable to say anything to the contrary? How about, scratch, you take accountability and stop saying, no, you only hate me because you've been convinced to? What happens if I say yes, Zane? What happens if I say yes?
So it is what it is. People can think what they want of me. I will continue to do better. And that's kind of...
You should have already been doing better. In fact, you should have not made this video if that was going to be the point. You should have just continued doing work, and then people antagonized you, ignore them, and keep doing work.
kind of where I'm at right now. I'm sorry for everything. Genuinely, where I fucked up, for not having any chill, for just being a kind of an asshole. So
Kind of. Kind of an asshole. I wasn't a whole ass, I was just a half ass. I put a cheek on his face and said,
but I guess that's where I'm going to leave this. I'm going to be doing more videos on here. I'm going to try and do like near weekly videos on here. I think that's kind of fun. I'm going to try and do... They won't be unscripted like this. They will be scripted, but they will be shorter form. Like, I'm aiming for like 10 to 20 minute videos on like obscure, weirder movies. A lot of them not really good movies, but interesting in their badness or amateurness, you know. And hopefully that'll be a good time. And then for the main channel, I'm just gonna focus on like really big videos there that I put like everything I have into, you know, like I did with the John Waters one. So what I'm gonna do on the main channel is probably like every other video, like I'll do like franchise video, then big video, then franchise video, then big video. Or I'll find like a rhythm that works and is kind of fun and I'll listen to people and stuff like that. You know? This has put me in a weird place. But a place
A weird place? That's what you call feeling shame and feeling the need to fight back against narratives that have long since set in against you?
that has allowed me growth. I had been in a rut for a while. You can see the cracks all over a lot of my work, you know, like kind of from at least the Carrie video on. I just had a lot going on in my life. I was going through it, and I don't even want to talk about that because people will be like, "Oh, he's scapegoating things," and you know.
Because you are scapegoating things and not taking accountability for the things you chose to say and do.
But I fucked up, and I guess that's all I could say. So, yeah, I'll do better. Thanks for listening for this. I know this was kind of rambly. Sorry if that was kind of hard to follow, but I'll do better.
Motherfucker just does the theatrical, I'm gonna walk off frame from the camera and be artsy fartsy shit. Okay, alright. Let's throw this shit to the public opinion. Let's go, let's go. 1 second, 1 second. Let's see who's in here. Okay. First up, you're on with Coral. So this bullshit you just heard. Do you believe it? Take your time. I have no idea if you're speaking or not. Oh no, he's broken. We are having technical difficulties. The member of the audience, his microphone is either not working or I can't hear him. I'll give him a second. What do I think? I think that there are reasons to make a response, but why is he choosing to respond now? I also think, if you're going to make an apology, why are you apologizing on your secondary channel? Hoping that the larger content creators are not going to go to your second channel and look at what you're saying. I think he knows what he's doing. I think he understands completely that he has to do this on a side venture, because if he puts this anywhere else, he's getting cooked, and he knows it. I think the coping and seething for real is out of control, and his inability to address for that is bizarre and out of pocket, amongst many things. Maybe it's my vocal settings. 1 second. Maybe the problem's me. Maybe the problem's me. This is covering my options. Output device, input device. Headset. Microphone. Can you hear me? It's a possibility that he can't hear me. That goes out of the window. Fuck. Well, regardless, that's the video. Let's look through the comment section, giving a hope that Struggler comes back and returns, or his microphone starts functioning. Let's look at the comment section. Itchy. Window filter. Article. Screen. Let's see what people had to say. Sort by new. So we've got plenty of people attacking him with criticism. Multiple people cooking him for the opinions where he has. People telling him that he's a coward. Some people saying, it's glad to see you back. You were attacked and unfairly scrutinized by the alt-right. Of course there is some legitimate criticism being made, but I honestly don't think you're a bad guy at all. The opposite, actually. I think as an openly queer person, you have a lot of trauma around bullying and harassment, the same as me. The bullying and harassment that causes you to bully and harass other people? Yes, actually, that can cause people to make some mistakes. Hurt people hurt people. Also, with the crazy rise in fascism, fascism is when you get shit-talked for liking firearms. It is easy to unfairly paint with a broad brush. I'm glad you're back. You have my support 100%. We will be watching your career with great interest, says the almighty Lolly. Here he is. I don't know if you're trying to be malicious or playful, hoping the latter because that's actually funny. Kinda both. Malicious? He's a sweet baby boy. He went up to him and gave him the adoption papers. Tal's gonna raise him to be the greatest video essayist of all. Homie with that name, please stay away from everyone. Truly, the most threatening person. A dude who names himself after child porn. Maybe you and Wendigo can collaborate at some point. I don't think you're all actually that different from each other. It'd be a legendary way to squash the beef. Hi, Zane. Glad to see you are well and continuing your work. I've been getting to write to you a long time because of the whole affair with the bad conservative horror movie that shook me. You must have been in a really dark place. I was afraid you might not recover from this wave of hate. You attacked literally everyone. I thought you had the right to say what you thought and fight for your opinion. I didn't understand some of your decisions. As you said yourself in the Nick Cage video, the worst thing one can do when fighting ridicule is explain how not ridicule you are, and you did just that. Nonetheless, you stood up for yourself, and I respect that. I remember driving to record my amateur horror shirt at 10 in the morning, and I saw your video and immediately turned it on to listen to while driving. I thought, oh shit, this is strong. I love your videos. I listen to you for hours, especially those videos more towards horror, and I look forward and expect each new one. Keep doing what you're doing, creating videos and talking horror films and doing what you love. I respect that and keep my fingers crossed for you. I hope the wave of hate will end soon. Zombie GX. All this proves that you're not actually sorry for the bullshit in your video, and you took the time to help people during the hurricane. Wendigoon. You know who took the time to help people during the hurricane. Wendigoon. The guy claimed shouldn't be allowed in public spaces. Go back to the shadows, you weasel. Get a job. Would have been better with a ukulele. You survived a hurricane and put out yet another banger. Glad you're back. This apology is shit. Here's the many points you did. You slandered Wendigoon and said he didn't deserve to exist. You said Mitterhard was transphobic over a thumbnail that wasn't transphobic at all. You called a lot of people alt-right Nazis and pushed a rape allegation. You didn't change. That wasn't even an apology. Just him deflecting and trying to justify the bullshit he spouted. It's not an apology because he has nothing to apologize about. Last I checked, lying about people is something that can be apologized for. Spreading false rape allegations made by Sneeko is definitely something you should apologize for, as well as saying Wendigoon shouldn't be allowed in public because, gasp, he's possibly a conservative. I'm really glad you're back. I get how you can get lost in a project and not realize there are problems. I'm just happy you found your way back to some place you can feel good about releasing videos because your videos are some of my favorites. Holy shit, he touched grass. The fact people are defending him after you try to gatekeep Native American myths is mind-boggling. It's so funny that you were living rent-free in these losers' heads. It wasn't a great video. Probably your worst. I understand why you did it. Guy has such a bad vibe and makes so much low-effort content and has a feverish cult-like following. It's creepy. Being a popular YouTuber is creepy. Something that he'll never be. He'll never be creepy, chat! Honestly, these people might be a little triggered that somebody's shining a light on the fact that this goofy guy doesn't actually do anything impressive. Because they might have to think about why they're so slavishly devoted to watching this guy recite paraphrased Wikipedia articles into a camera for hours on end. It seems like they just see themselves in him and are so stoked that someone so boring is successful. You have actual talent making video essays. I'm so stoked you're still doing it. Looking forward to your new work. So, we've got a mixture of cap and criticism and tongue-in-cheek criticism. Let me just go ahead and add myself to the mix. So little said in so much time, with little to no accountability truly taken. From I'm gay, we do criticism differently. To I don't hate conservatives. I hate people who morally posture. As a Methodist, please continue to make work. We're all slavishly for the next bit of content from someone who cannot admit when he's wrong, but insists he's not. Okay, his hand is back up again. Let's see what's happening. Hello. So.
Hello.
See, now it's working. So, the shit that we just heard, do you believe it?
I would believe that he would be more honest to just be like, hey, I just hate Wendigoon. I just hate that nigga. That's it. That's all he had to do. It would cut down on the posturing, it would cut down on the bullshit. It would just be like, I just don't like this motherfucker. And then just release that. That's it.
I don't think it was a possibility simply for how much farts he'd have to huff to put it out. Of all the postulation, I'm still hung up on the we're gays, we do content differently. Because maybe we do have to get out maybe we do have to fish Rantasmo out of Lindsay Ellis's basement. I don't know. Maybe Antonella has finished whipping him for having the wrong opinion about, I don't fucking know what media they could even be talking about nowadays. Considering how she disappeared from YouTube and only reappeared after putting out content that was already on Nebula. Of all the Nebulites that exist, and that's what I'm going to call them, the majority of content that you could put out about any of this shit kind of begins and ends at, maybe I was just wrong. And I can accept that I was wrong. But that's apparently not a choice. That is not a choice to say that she was wrong, or he was wrong, or anyone like that is wrong. No, they're not being heard correctly, because it's just a weird intonation. It's just a weird thing that people do. Hearing what you said and then taking you seriously when you said it, it's baffling, I tell you.
I'm more laughing at the fact that he's using stereotypes as a defense.
Using stereotypes as a defense after then saying, I don't believe in stereotyping people. It's just that the stereotypes that I belong to mean that I have to stereotype people.
I can't. I can't with this level of code. I can't. I just can't.
Now, let's say, in the alternate future that doesn't exist, he doesn't say what he just said, and instead says, I was upset and I was angry, and even if I don't consider myself to be selfish, clearly the things I said came from a negative place, and I needed to take time off from what I said I would take to figure out where that came from. Do you think that's closer to the truth?
Probably closer to the truth.
Would you accept that as the answer if he said that?
It would be a lot more honest to what is possibly going on. But like I said, it'd probably be a lot more honest if you just like, yeah, I just made that just because I hate that person in particular.
Like, a couple of these could have been said with slurs, but that's just me postulating and just saying it for the funny bit. But this was not a funny haha video to watch through. It actually gave me a throbbing fucking headache. I cannot understand how he can be able to say what he said and say it as though there was not an entire audience of people witnessing him saying it live. Because the whole people misunderstood me. The only way that you could see this is that you sought it out. Yeah! I wonder why I would seek it out. I wonder why I would seek out a video that tells me the latest opinion of InPraiseOfShadows. I wonder if he was disappeared from any place for something he had recently said on a platform.
Now I'm familiar with what he said on YouTube. I didn't hear about the stuff on Discord though.
Well, he apparently doesn't use Discord as well as most people think that he does. He also doesn't use YouTube as much as he thinks people would. Which then begs the question, how are you upset about Wendigoon if you don't watch that many content creators in question, whether when you're researching things or even casually as a watcher? That doesn't match up. Now, of course, people could say, Carl, you're coping. Clearly, a person doesn't need to constantly use YouTube in order for them to be able to address whether or not they like the platform or not. And that would be accurate. You could say that that is a true statement, chat. But you know what we definitely wouldn't do? We definitely wouldn't say that and then say everything he said about Wendigoon and Donut Operator and everyone else that he attacked, and then walk that back saying, listen, there's a context behind why things are said. You don't know my name. You don't know my story. You've only skimmed my table of contents. Listen to the audiobook of my cope. How about no? How about no? Because even Jay said, lol, oh my god, I can't believe it. And the only reason she's not here is because she's editing. I imagine she would have been laughing harder if she would have had a lot other points that I possibly may have missed. Me, personally, I think I left no crumbs. But, in the future, any other fucking shit he says, what else is going to be not the truth unless people hear you out? What else did people misunderstand because they weren't willing to give you a fair chance? What other opinions apparently were just given about you because they didn't really know anything about you for real? They only repeated what they saw on the internet. But everything they got on the internet came from your mouth. Me, personally, I look forward to him making content because, at this point in time, the only thing that would probably be worse than eventually going over the takes of Lily Orchard is if Brian Mullins the Fox made another drop too.
Jesus. I'm okay. I can't deal with that level of insanity. I'm okay.
Truthfully, if he drops another video, it would give us more context behind things because, hey, he said he's going to change. He said he'll be different. So that means he won't be coping. He won't be seething. He won't be frothing at the mouth, making comparisons between people that he says he's not obsessed with because he's not obsessed. We'll find out how true that is. It probably won't be true, but we'll find out how true it is. And if it's not true, well, we can criticize him. Because apparently, we're allowed to criticize him. It's on the table. So, we will criticize it. And more than likely, he's going to be unhappy about it because he's not going to like it. We'll see whether or not the comment section gets paused or closed by the end of this video. Because all of the who's who's are basically picking up on this and noticing this story. So, if he makes another video on his side channel, or if he makes a video on his main channel complaining about the opinions of people that are looking at the situation, we'll know whether or not he's lying. My estimation, I think it'll probably just end up being good old Cope from good old Zane. But really the test is, when the people who were attacked see this, if they give him mea culpa. I suppose Wendigoon's already said his piece, so he need not even say anything. But anybody else in that matter, that's where the sparks really are. And if that's the case, and that comes to pass, then it is what it is. And if he starts mauling and seething because of the, quote, bad opinions from the people who are talking about it now, then, again, cope is what it is. Either way, it is delicious. It is delicious, the irony of the situation. Because now, where he could have said, I understand the pain that I brought on other people's mental health, he's instead saying, no, my mental health was still in the shitter. And then said nothing that gives any intonation that he worked on something that would help his mental health. Because wouldn't it be better for your mental health to possibly address the direction of the criticism that you were doing it out of spite? Instead of saying, no, I've never been spiteful in my life. Here, I have a receipt from my doctor that says I've never coped.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious that he even remotely thinks that.
Fortunately, the YouTube sphere of drama does not relevate itself on the opinion of Zane, who clearly does not know how the mechanism functions. So, we will wait earnestly and eagerly for the next output. I honestly don't know what else I could say other than, if there's a woman or a man in his... I guess it has to be a man in his life, because he's gay! If there is a man in his life that cares about him, they will tell him, take your ass off the internet. You don't need to be on the internet today. There will be a person... Yes, there will be a person that will tell him, get your ass off of Twitter, get your ass off YouTube. If it has nothing to do with a video you need to publish, you need to get in bed. Not even for sex. Just go in bed. Sleep. Sleep until things start making sense to you again. Because I would say, making videos about people that you consider to be the lowest of the low, and then pushing off the opinions about Appalachia, only Chris Valenti is down bad more than you. Unironically. And ironically, that guy had pretty much the entire internet sitting behind him as like a meme lord. Which, that's neither here nor there. But even with that being neither here nor there, perhaps, mayhaps, he will watch his tongue in the future and not say such egregious things. And if he does, well, not our problem. Or at least not my problem, personally. The scale awaits. The scale awaits. The internet is waiting. Now, not necessarily they're waiting for you to fuck up, but they're just waiting. Because who knows? Maybe he will learn from this, and he will become a better content creator. Maybe he won't learn from it, as most of us predict, and he'll just remain being the same thing he is. But I'm willing to give him the opportunity to fuck up. I'm not going to attack the man just because I decided to. No, I'm going to wait for you to fuck up. Then I'm going to hang your ass. Truly, be gay, do criticism. The video. Think there's anything I missed? Anything you wanted to say else? No?
I think you dropped there for a sec.
Was there anything else you wanted to mention?
Dude, I'm one of those people that are just like, why can't you just be honest what you're feeling? You know? It's like, yeah, you clearly made this out of spite of Wendigo. It's clear that you don't like it. So why not just be honest about that, as opposed to being like, hey, I've never been hateful my entire life, which is bullshit. Hate the man, do it honestly.
Other than the obvious first answer, which would be politically expedient and financially lucrative, or in this case, non-lucrative. I'm not a hateful gay. I'm a gay that has a healthy disrespect and respect of people. I don't hate religious people. I hate proselytizers.
He's so full of shit.
Outside of that obvious answer, satisfaction. He doesn't want to give people the satisfaction, but then if you didn't want to give people the satisfaction of something that you definitely can't change their mind on, assuming that they were already precognitive about your pre-reaction of their reaction, if Madame Cleo was able to tell you how many people were going to be mad at you as you consulted the cards, after you finished that episode of Agatha All Along, you would then just not make the video then. Like, oh man, people are going to be mad at us. They're just going to be so hateful. How about I don't make that video and I just go back to making other videos? And then when people try to bring it up, I just don't give energy. I don't remove their opinion. I don't block it. I just keep moving forward. Nah! I have to address it. I have to have the last word. My truth has been unwritten.
Yep. Gotta be petty. Gotta hate. It's pathetic.
Truthfully, it's an opinion. It's choice. If I put it into context with my video, is that all I'm covering? Well, 1 second. There's like maybe one other thing that I could cover in this situation. Because I'm having a bit of a headache, but I can power through something else. I just need to find the other something else, because I had it before I looked. But then I forgot what it was, because I had to leave the room and go get something else. Hopefully it is where I left it. Let me look. Where is it? I can't find it. I had it right here, man. Fuck, god damn it. I can't find it. Nope, I can't fucking find it. Let me see if I can find the article of it that I may or may not have bookmarked on Twitter. Ah! There is one thing that I have, and the only other thing that I do have is particularly something to deal with Grums, and the reaction of Grums trying to cope like a madman. Two things happened, in the meanwhile, while this video was making the rounds. 1 second. So, the first one is the reveal of Alyssa McConte getting publicly rejected by Hassan Abi. And this going viral because 8-Bit Eric has been sharing it around and making it viral, which is deserved. Because after all of the shit talking and the and the back and forth and the bullshit, she has come to realize that she cannot use the channels to get her attention. This might become an individual video that I may make on Sunday. She can't get energy from any of us, either because she's tried to block us all or she's tried to attack us all at the same times. In doing this, she is now making the pre-predicted by both me and other people grift move to become a Twitch YouTuber that wants to be political about left-wing politics and shit, and tried to make an on-screen connection with Hassan, which went poorly. But you didn't have to be smart to know that was gonna happen. Like, fuck you mean? Of course Hassan Piker's not gonna give you a ready-made career. You're not fucking him, you're not one of his friends, and you're not Arabic. So why would he care about you? You're a spicy white Latin woman. Latin, Italian, as she's claimed, woman. Why would he ever give you any clout? That's weird. The other thing is Grums was confronted by Sid Alpha about content to do with Emirate, and now Grums is using his children as a justification for why there has been no work done on Emirate, and has now decided to use them as a defense for not doing work after Sid exposed him for the effort he didn't do, while at the same time immediately turning around and trying to attack GamerX. That's GamerX. And the Gay, G-A-Y, Ming magazine, which, if you remember, came from the event from that either current or ex Sweet Baby Inc. employee who hated Blazing Saddles, but wanted to say he loved Blazing Saddles.
Yeah, that racist guy. Yeah.
Yes, he was on a panel with another person, and that white male of that room of minority, gay, he just wrote an article about that then gets responded to by Sid, who had already spoken to him about his work. And then, after talking to him about how much work had been done, this was the fallout that came from that. And this has been, like, building up for the last few, I'd say, weeks, months. It's very weird that this actually breaks in this way, but from the Dragon Treasure, who is one of the many people who sees things happening, pretty much everybody now is coming to the position that he's never going to finish a fucking game. He's never going to finish Emery. The more people reveal the inner workings of his development, and the more he gets common pushback, to the point where it's not just regular who's who. He's starting to get pushback from people like Sid Alpha. Perhaps at some point Stuttering Craig may bring it up, but I don't think Stuttering Craig will, because he seems to be amongst those that don't want to go along with it. Who knows if Smash JT will say something, because between Smash JT and then also Grums, and then also Critters Rambo, who I don't think has made a single appearance within the last few months, mostly because he's working on his own shit and only caring about what happens to him inside of his insular audience. This news story is probably old news to most people, but the bring up of what was revealed is more new because of the work that was given by Upper Echelon, and work that was given by Endeavion, and work that was given by Legacy Kill HD, and work that's been given by Sid Alpha. And it is now to the point where the back and forth and back and forth and back and forth is entertaining, but doesn't really amount to anything. But the thing about the Dragon Treasure's response is that he happens to be someone who's directly connected in the sector. So if the sector's not picking up on this, it's literally just a matter of time before every other commentary channel actually starts picking up on him and then talking about this, and then that'll be a firestorm in and of itself. Basically, there's a clock that is now counting down, and it's to see whether or not an opinion is made by somebody like Razor Fist. When Razor Fist starts dropping about it, because he's probably one of the few people that I would say I would see talk about this directly, that's when you're going to really see some fireworks. Basically, the countdown to the destruction of Grums's political identity and his personal platform on Twitter as a, quote, culture war grifter, which going up alongside the same thing that I reacted to earlier from known culture war criticizer, but apparently not criticizer, the Mighty Keith, claiming that there are people who have frustrations that aren't invalidated with the quality of AAA. It's just there's fake people who you need to try and see through who can modify your anger, and Grums would definitely be one of those people, because he loves to talk shit about Grums getting kicked out of places and being ignored by audiences, because this is what was happening during the coverage of Final Fantasy XIV. Myself, more in this case Tina and Caleb and others who are familiar with Final Fantasy XIV, he was literally there claiming shit. And just like he had done the week before with the reveal of information from the use of layered armors, which, if you're going to get angry about something coming out of Monster Hunter, why would you go in on male characters and female characters can now wear different types of armor? Not exactly wokeism, my friend. But he went in on Monster Hunter, then switched over to Final Fantasy XIV, got pushed out by Final Fantasy XIV. Chief was one of the many people at the head of that, and just like anybody else who's been talking about things in the culture war, he tried to do this whole, this is not woke, this is not woke. And I gave a response to this, I think it was a few hours, yes, at 5:10, before I went live, about this, and that's pretty much all I really have, but they're not anything valuable for, like, a deeper cut. Because ironically, I'm saving the Pokemon thing for next week, because I don't want to waste it. I want to make sure I use all 3 days. Like 1, 2, 3. Boom, boom, boom. I don't know if I'll have something for tomorrow, because tomorrow is Liberty Day in Helldivers 2. Be there, kids, and pick up your free rifle with a bayonet on the end. Stick it to the bugs and bots. Be a true patriot. Give them carotid artery bleeds for Super Earth and Liberty. But that is all we have here for tonight, at least for now. Unless there's something that's been spoken about in Praise of Shadows within the last hour and a half that I don't know about. I believe so. I believe so. I'm actually surprised we have over 580 people who are watching on Twitter. Hi, Twitter! I feel Jay has a reason to do with that. But anywho, yeah, that's all I have for you all tonight. I need to nurse this headache. There's also your birthday stream. That's right. Is that today or tomorrow? I think that's today. Fuck.
Oh, she has a birthday stream? Happy birthday. Aura?
I can't remember when it was.
Oh, it's just tomorrow.
Okay. I did not miss it. I was gonna be upset with myself. When is your birthday stream tomorrow, or is it in the morning or is it at night? Okay, that's easy. Today is Saturday, so I should actually be awake exactly at that time, and we will do what? What are we doing? Are we just watching videos?
I'm probably gonna be busy with the misses, but I can drop by whenever I'm done.
I'm waiting for her response. Watching stupid videos, playing games, fucking around. Okay. Probably not gonna live stream it, since privacy and whatnot. But I will definitely show up and be there. Which actually, that works out perfectly fine, because more than likely, if we... Well, first question, how long is the event going to be? Hours? 4 hours? 5 hours? Okay, that actually works out perfectly. That'll blend right into Helldivers. Alright, that is fine. And I guess that's going to be the itinerary for tomorrow, for anybody who's wondering. Alright, I'm going to go get my ice pack and go nurse my headache. Because I swear to fucking God, his voice gave me a fucking aneurysm. I will see you all tomorrow. Be there, or be square.
Bon nuit to you all.
Bye, everybody.